Okay guys, guess where we are today? I'm back home in Texas, in Houston, and we decided to go to a nearby plantation and, take a tour of the property and see what it was like back then. So I'm gonna take you guys on the journey. I'm super, super, super excited. Welcome back. If you have not, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you love the content that you see today. Look at the beautiful tree. I feel like anytime I think of like the plantation or like these big southern homes, I always think of this beautiful tree here. So this is super beautiful. I'm looking forward to learning the history of today. I think it's very interesting. Usually when you go to these plantations, they really focus a lot on the plantation owners. So I'm hoping to look forward to hearing the history of my people and the people that did serve as slaves on this land. So yeah, say hi y'all.
Hi Ashley.
We're already getting ready to vlog.
Yeah.
Here guys, so if you have not, make sure you follow my sister's channel, Tamar Perkins. If you have not followed my mom's channel, the Regina Perkins. So yeah, guys, I made a friend. Kitty likes me. To the visitor center, check in, get our tickets. Yeah, this is what the center looks like. I'm sure this is part of okay, guys, so I just said we just came in, we're about to check in. This shop is so cute. Look at there. Their sister just came in.
If this pin will work. You're in the welcome center, and then this is the barn. Feel free to go through there. And then you have like a little picnic concessions area. And then right here, right before the creek, you have Ima Hog's cottage.
So we just entered. Check this out. This is like the history of the plantation and where we are and the development of it. You guys hear my shoes?
In some way, the truth it's trying to be told.
And I like to think of good things, but I tell you the truth now, just for once, what I have seen.
So we just watched the history video of this place. So I learned a lot of interesting information. We're in what we call Brazos County, which actually is near to Sugarland, which is an area here in Houston, and it's known for the sugar cane and when the sugar cane was produced. Now, the history of this plantation that we're on, so pretty much how this plantation became to be, there was a family called the Patterson family, and they came from Kentucky. Now during this time, this is when a lot of the states in North America were ending slavery, and Texas was the only place that was, well, not the only place, it was one of the only places that was still holding on to slavery. So a lot of people who were owning slaves that were in states like Kentucky and Tennessee and different states where slavery was ending, they decided they wanted to migrate to Texas so they can still continue to work in the agriculture field with the slaves that they owned. So the Patterson family migrated here to this plantation and built a beautiful home. But eventually, as time went on, obviously agriculture began booming, and then the Brazos County, which is where the plantation is, became a huge place of wealth, and a lot of wealthy slave owners were in this area because of the agriculture. Yeah, I'm excited to show you guys and take you on this journey. right?
actually, this is a blacksmith.
So this is the barn.
This is the barn.
This was built in 1840s, guys. We're going into the barn. I'll show you guys. Wow, check out this carriage. So guys, look at this stuff. Look at this wagon here. Wow. This is called a phaeton, also known as a huggy buggy. So it's funny, people laugh at us in the South because we call shopping carts buggies. But this is where it came from, you know? We used to call the buggies, cars, buggies. Wow, so this is all the material they use. This is a harrow. A disc harrow, it breaks up chunks of soil. Look at this. Okay. Then we've got a carriage, which you put the sugar cane on, the wagon. This is what the slaves used to carry the sugar cane. And then we have the children's toys. Interesting, guys. You know, I'm from Texas, like born and raised in Texas, and I have not spent a lot of time in barns. And I'm from a small town originally, Nacogdoches, Texas, the oldest town in Texas. And I spent the rest of my childhood growing up in Houston, but I didn't spend a lot of time in barns. And like, it's such a good feeling to be able to come back and just be in this type of environment and feel the history here and the warmth of the South. My mom is vlogging. Look at her.
Stop lying. This was not the enslaved labor equipment, right?
No. There's cows back here. Look at the cows. You guys see this land is beautiful. I hope in the future someday I am able to get me a ranch house because it's so beautiful out here. It's so beautiful. Look at this land. So guys, we are approaching the Patton family's cemetery. There was a hurricane, a Galveston, that took out a lot of this, but this is where the Patterson family laid to rest. So we're gonna take a moment of silence. You guys, look at this beautiful river. So beautiful. So beautiful. Like, this place is a dream. So when the Patton family came actually to this place, this became a huge land of wealth for agriculture, which was so amazing at the time. This is what we call the Brazos County, and it's very close to an area in Houston called Sugar Land, which I used to live when I was a kid. And there's a reason for that, because they were producing large amounts of sugar cane in this area. Now, slavery eventually did end, right? Guys, slavery ended, it was done, it was over with. And so the problem with this issue is that when slavery ended, the slaves didn't really have a way to progress and a way to move forward. There were no jobs for them. So in order for all these slave owners to low-key keep slavery going, right, they would suspiciously arrest some of these slaves and convict them with all these different crimes and things like that. So it would force them to work on their lands as slaves. And this is how they were still maintaining their plantation and maintaining the agriculture of the land. So as time went on, right, the Patterson's family house, if I'm not mistaken, got destroyed by a hurricane, if I'm not mistaken. And then this caused for the Patterson family to leave, and that's when the former governor, Texas governor, James Hogg, came over and took over this plantation and made it what it is today. So all these changes that you guys see, the housing and these different parts of this land, is owned by the governor, James Hogg, and that is what we're enjoying, and we're going to see what he created of this place today. All right, guys, so as I told you guys, the former governor took over this plantation. So what's so crazy about the governor, his name was James Hogg, and he could not fit in the metal bathtubs that were created at the time, so he ended up building his own water hole outside on the plantation so that he could take his baths. So I'm gonna show. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to go inside the plantation home. So unfortunately, they're in the process of changing it into a new project that they have coming up. So I don't think that the home is actually fully furnished, and if it is, I think they kind of have the furniture like moved around because they're getting ready to change some things a bit. But I'm excited to go into this plantation home. I can see the kitchen. There's a kitchen there. Oh my God, look how big this house is. It's beautiful. I'm gonna show you guys. You see the kitchen? Oh my God. Oh my God, I want to ring this bell so bad, y'all. Look at the kitchen. The water well. In what you call the plantation smokehouse. Look at this. They got like the meats hanging from the wall. So this is what the smokehouse would look like. This is where they would get the meats from. Oh my God. This room was used for pantry and a large ice box. I'll show you guys. Wow. We're in the plantation kitchen. Look at this. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. So they actually rebuilt this in the 1920s. The Hog family was here before, as I told you. The Patton family was here before. I told you guys about. They were here between 1834 and 1869, and then the governor James Hogg came, and he took over and rebuilt it in 1901. So, wow, this is crazy. I'll show you. Different nuts. See the pecans in there? Crazy. You know, it kind of hits home a little bit for me, guys, because you have to know that, like, you know, my ancestors spent a lot of time here in this kitchen. So to me, it's a way for me to connect with these ancestors here. Like, I know that, you know, people in the past spent a lot of time in this kitchen with their kids and things like that. So yeah. So the kitchen's there. This is the house. And we're gonna go in. Wow.
That's exactly how she lives.
So as I said, guys, they are in the process of renovating. So I just get to show you guys what a plantation home looks like. Oof. I don't know why it gives me chills. Let's go up the stairs. So it actually there's another floor, guys. There's another floor. These are the different bedrooms. Wow, look at this. I really wish I could still see the furniture. Okay, so this room focused on religion. It says history of religion. Wow. Okay, let's keep it going. Okay. You know, I actually was really looking forward to seeing this part of the house. I'm a little sad that they don't have the furniture up. I guess we should have checked before we came. Wow, guys, look at this. This is so crazy. Wow. Let's go on the balcony. Oh, the upper floor is closed. Oh, it's okay. Let's go out here though. Oh, am I now allowed to go on the balcony? I don't think I can go on the balcony, guys. I think they have it closed. Maybe. Darn it. I really wanted to go. Okay, so no, can't go outside. Let's see if I can open this. Which I don't think that I can, but it's worth a try. And guys, I really disheartening that the furniture is not set up as is, so I can't really see what exactly it looks like in the time. But it's something about coming to places like this that really kind of hit home for me, like just a little bit, just to know the type of turmoil that my ancestors were in. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a little risque secret about this place, right? So, Patton, which was the first family that stayed actually in this home, believe it or not, he took one of the slaves and actually had her in the house as a wife. Yes, as a wife. And so pretty much when he got older and he became ill, and the family found out, they sent her to Ohio, and they came and took Patton and, you know, obviously took him in and took care of him. He was dying from a brain tumor. But it's so crazy to think about how, you know, these people will come and own these slaves, but then still honor the black woman, you know what I'm saying? And have her by her side. There's nothing like a black woman. And I guess Patton, he found that out, or he felt that from her. So like, that's a really interesting fact that I found out, that he had one of his slaves as a wife. So yeah. So we got on the balcony, we got the door open. Look how beautiful this is. My sister's vlogging back there. Wow. This is so beautiful. Oh my God. So I have to say, it is very, I guess, self-reflecting, and being in a property like this, even though it's beautiful, the house is beautiful, the plantation, the land is beautiful, you really have to take a moment and step back and think about our ancestors who were actually probably in turmoil at the time, you know. So I think for anything, coming to a place like this, you have to take a moment to self-reflect, especially as a black woman, and have gratitude about the opportunities that we have today. Now we can put ourselves in these type of positions if we wanted to, because back then our ancestors weren't able to. So even though this is a beautiful moment and a beautiful place, I still have to take a moment to self-reflect. So what's so interesting about this property actually is there is a river that actually divides the plantation up. So on this side, this is where the slave owners and people that live in the plantation, this house, lived in, and on the other side, that is where the slave quarters were. So that's how they were able to keep the separation of not only, you know, class, but also workers versus owners. So I thought that was a very interesting fact. It's locked? Yeah. Why are they closing half the house? Alright guys, we're crossing the river to the other side. The sugar mill's this way, slave quarter ruins. This is what we call Varner Creek. This is where the slaves were, on the other side of the river. Remember I told you guys about the separation? The house is over there. That's where we just left. Alright guys, so we're actually approaching the sugar mills. We're in the slave quarters. This is where the slaves worked. So as I said before, there was a huge hurricane in the 1900s that took out a lot of this stuff. So there's not much left of the sugar cane, you know, towers, I guess. I don't know what they're called, but I'll show you guys what they look like. So these are the sugar mill ruins that I was telling you guys about. So nothing is left. The mill was built by the Pattons in the 1840s and was destroyed like many of the buildings in the 1900 hurricane. This is crazy. The brick foundation and the chimney are the only remains. Let's see if we can walk up to it. I don't want to walk on it. I'm not trying to ruin it. Is this a sidewalk? I really want to look inside of it. It's crazy. Let's see. Look at this, guys. This is all that's left. Wow. My ancestors used to work on this land, on this plantation. The house is back there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Wow. The sugar mill's here that I told you guys about. So this is the oil rig, guys. When Governor Hoggs, which I told you guys was the second owner of this plantation, he ended up purchasing this plantation because he had a feeling that there was oil here. But he died before he could even get into that endeavor. Turns out his kids ended up finding actually that there was actually oil on here, and they were able to live off of that till this day. So this is actually one of the oil rigs that they built that kept the wealth of the Hoggs family going. So yeah, it's crazy. The sugar mill bowls get bigger and bigger. I showed you guys the smaller one which was way down there, but look how big they get. Look at this. And these actually used to once be chimneys here. They are no longer because of the 1900 flood. But this is the, show you guys. So crazy what a storm can do. So this once was a chimney that they used to burn, and now just left the remains of it because of the hurricane. So you gotta think about, man, this is where my ancestors were. This is where they worked. This is where they leave their fingerprints behind. So this is what we call the heart of the plantation. This is what made the plantation even exist and be what it was supposed to be. So wow, look at this house. Look at this. It's a hole. Isn't that crazy? That probably once was a chimney where they burned, but it's so crazy to see that nothing is left. What kept this plantation flowing and going, gave all these slaves work, is no longer here anymore. This was the heart of it. So this is very interesting. The land is so big here, guys. So big. Hey guys, so we're almost done. The camera's a little dirty. I'm gonna clean y'all off a bit. Okay. But we still need to go to the slave quarters, which is where the slaves lived. We just looked at the sugar mill where they worked. We found the oil rig, and now we're gonna walk over here to where the slave quarters is. What did I tell you guys? It's so beautiful.
Over the hot furnace, I was right when I told you that.
Guys, check out. This is what's left of the slave quarters. Literally, what's left. It was said that there was actually about 13 houses here in this area. This is where the slave quarters were. Now, obviously, the slaves didn't have a lot of free time. So the time that they did have, they spent it over here. You know, the slaves did encourage marriage. I'm not going to say slaves anymore. I'm going to say ancestors because they're my ancestors. They encouraged marriage. So there was always a ton of kids running around and playing over here. But it's so crazy to think that the foundation, this is all that's left. It seemed like there were maybe 2 homes that were here. That's left of what was once here. I guess the hurricane really took everything out. You guys, the sun is coming up. Finally, it's been kind of like a gloomy day. And so I'm really just going to take in this moment and just really take in the land that I'm walking on. And like, it's so crazy how we've, you know, propelled so forward in the future, my people. And so crazy to walk on the land that they once were, you know, dreamed of bigger things, dreamed of the life that I am currently living right now. So this has been a really, really, really interesting experience. This actually was my first plantation that I've ever been to before. And I found it to be very interesting that it was, you know, here in Texas where I'm from. So yeah, I think it's been a very, very, very interesting day. So yeah. Slaves, sorry, my ancestors, I need to stop saying slaves. But they had their own small gardens where they grew vegetables and things like that. So this is once where that was. and maybe there was a home here. You can't really tell. But look, beautiful. Look how beautiful this is. Man. Okay guys, so I just got back, just returned from the sugar mill, and definitely a very, internal, interesting experience, my first plantation. I took the time when I got back because I was just so intrigued by the whole experience, because there wasn't a lot that was left over in regards to the things that used to be there. So I took it upon myself to, just do the history, research the history of the land and where we were. And I told you guys that we were in Brazos County, which is an area or a suburban area here in Houston that we call Sugarland area. And the reason why it's called Sugarland, it's because that is where the Imperial, I don't know if you guys know the brand Imperial Sugar, that is where the factory was and where it was started. Alex Cunningham started the Imperial Sugar Company. But the crazy thing that's so wild about this whole thing is 10 months ago, 95 bodies were discovered in Sugarland. It's called the Sugarland 95. 95 bodies were discovered, pretty much unearthed. They found bones of bodies, and this was a land and an area where they would dump slave bodies from the labor camps. So I know that I told you guys earlier in the video that when slavery ended, obviously people still wanted it to keep going in the South. They wanted it to keep going, so they needed to find a way to get around the law. They needed to find a way to get around the 13th Amendment. So what they put in the 13th Amendment is that pretty much slaves can be free, black people can be free, but they can be convicted and have to go to labor camps. So pretty much if they're convicted of a crime, then they have to go work on these labor camps, and they're back to the cotton fields and back to the plantation working. So this was a huge issue, I want to say, between the year of 1871 to 1911 in the South, where they created these laws that were pretty much circled around black people's behavior. So, if we were laughing too loud, that was the law. If laughing too loud as a black person, you could be arrested and sent to jail for that. If you were walking on a sidewalk near a white woman or nearby a white woman, you could be arrested of that as a black person or a black man or a black woman. Pretty much they created these laws to criminalize black people, to be able to put them in the prison system and then put them into labor camps. So I thought this was very, very, very interesting, because it kind of makes you reflect on what we're experiencing now in the world now when it comes to the view of black people, and how we are, more than anything, especially in the South, socialized with, or not socialized, but I guess associated with crime. So you have to think about where the root of this perspective came from in regards to law enforcement and how they view black people, how people of other races view us. I'm saying, when a black family moves into a predominantly white neighborhood, this makes people uncomfortable because of the view that's been put on us in regards to history here in the South. So pretty much they created these laws to criminalize us, to use us for labor, to get around slavery. So I thought that was just so interesting and just so profound, I guess, for the things that we've been experiencing over the years with Black Lives Matter and us trying to get things better, for wrongfully convicted black people. So I just thought that was so interesting to learn about that, about my area and where I'm from, in Houston, the part of Texas where I'm from, and the history of the sugarcane field. So yeah, I thought this was a really special time for me to go to the plantation. It is February, it's Black History Month, and this was a perfect time for me to come home to Houston, spend time with my family, and then as well be exposed to the culture and learn about the history of my people. So I wanted to take the moment to, be able to pause from traveling a bit and give reverence to Black people and my ancestors for the things that we've been through and the things that we've experienced. Our people have been through a lot, and we're still fighting for certain freedoms till this day. We're still experiencing modern day racism, and this kind of ties into my travel life because obviously COVID was one of the reasons of why I left the state, but another main reason I left the States was because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement that was happening, and how Black people were being wrongfully convicted and all these Black lives were being lost to law enforcement. And so this really deeply affected me, because at the time when all this was going on and our country was being separated because our president at the time, it really provoked me and encouraged me, like, go do more research and learn about the history of the country, and how things got to where they came to be. And I just became so involved, and I guess so engrossed into it, and it was, I guess, creating this outside exterior and this hate for the things that my ancestors had experienced. And I knew that this wasn't good for me. I feel like the things that were being put out in the media and social media was encouraging us to be more divided. So I just felt like I needed to leave the country. I needed to leave the state. It was creating this hate in my heart, and I didn't want that. So when I moved to Mexico and came there, and I didn't experience racism, I was actually, glorified. I know it's crazy to say. People would stop me and say, "Can I take your picture, Moranita?" which is, Black beautiful woman, and I was honored to be what I was. I was praised to be for who I was, and this really helped me, I guess, kind of disconnect or disassociate for the things that we're experiencing and going on in the States. And so it was crazy. My time there, the longer I stayed, the more I became disconnected from those type of things. Now, granted, obviously, I still have family here in the States, in Texas, in the South, so I still worry, I'm saying, for the safety of my family and many aspects of things that go on in our country. But it was nice to be in a place where I could disconnect and just be myself and not have to worry about, being targeted, for certain things, So to me, it was interesting when we would get people that would come from the States and hang out. I'd meet people like, oh yeah, they're here for like 3 days or for vacation in Mexico where I am. And to talk to them and still have that, I guess, this cloud of hatred, I'm saying, not hatred, but just bitterness about like what our people have experienced in the past and what they're experiencing now in the States. And when they would come and talk about those things, I would just be brought back immediately of that traumatic feeling that I was experiencing during that time. And I realized how disassociated that I was from those things. And I wanted to be able to share that mindset. If the country that we live in, America, if the system and the history of our country was not built for our success, go somewhere else. Go somewhere where you can flourish as a Black person. So one thing I can say, my time in Mexico, I feel like I have flourished. I have grown. I'm able to live a 1%er life and have luxury things for a cheaper cost. And then the system is not built to work against me. So I'm able to flourish and be happy this environment. So I guess this is my encouragement for, I guess, Black people who are still in the States and are fighting for our rights. Continue to fight for justice, obviously, for our people. But if you are truly unhappy and those type of things are deeply affecting you, consider living abroad and going to a new place and experiencing something different in a different country. I think it really helped me grow as a person, and I want to be able to share this mindset with people who are still in the States, You know, to know that you don't have to be in that setting. You don't have to stay in that. Go somewhere else where you are loved and you are welcomed and you are flourishing and you are growing. You know, so try Africa, try Mexico, try the Caribbean. Like, you know, there's so many places that you can go and live such a different life. And so, yeah, not to get way off subject, but I just wanted to sit down and have like a little, you know, talk back with you guys about my experience and my reflection of the things I experienced. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my experience on the plantation. And if you can, you know, take the moment this month to go do something to give reverence to Black people. Go to the museums. A lot of the museums, especially here in Houston in particular, they have exhibits where you can go learn about the history of our people. But do something just to give reverence to our people. This is a special month for us. And even I, as a Black woman, living abroad, as a Black woman, as an entrepreneur and a businesswoman, I'm creating pathways and spaces for, you know, a younger generation than me to propel further in the future. So I'm honored to be in such a time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you comment and tell me what you think about my experience at the plantation, as well as share with me some experiences that you may have had, you know, giving reverence to Black people and our ancestors in this month. And don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. I want to be able to keep you guys on my journey. As I said, I got big things coming. And stay happy, guys. Stay flowing. Stay growing. And thank you so much for watching Solo Birds, and have a great day. Love you. Bye.